Scared me.
Welcome back, boys. Been about 6 months since we did that one of these. What do we know?
Well, we got no snow and it's February. That's a little odd for Minnesota, but it's still cold. So that's a little weird. But
Boys watch
watched a little
All-Tech
racing
last night?
last night. Did you guys
Yeah.
watch Tech?
I watched it, yeah.
What do you
Yeah.
think?
Took way too long.
Dude,
Agreed.
at one point I was like dozing on and off and I look up and they're racing like Crown Vics. And I was like, what the hell's
Hey,
going on?
that's the place. That's the place where the 100K Crown Vic race is going on in September.
Jesus.
Is that
Dude,
the
they
one
didn't
that
even
Riley
look like they
Brown
were
put in
moving.
on?
Isn't it 100,000 to
XR?
win?
100,000 to win Crown Vics.
100,000 to win, get paid a year later.
Nice.
Yeah, dude, they were getting that place was pretty roughed up last night.
Yeah.
Dude, they were hauling ass.
Crown Vics were
Ricky,
getting all four wheels off the ground.
you watch?
Davenport there at the end, I was watching the replay and when Moran was out front and Thornton, and then they're like, "Oh, Davenport's coming running in third," and he comes off a four, and then he just dive bombs into one and hooks that Brown just perfect. Then he rolled right under Thornton coming off of two and was catching Moran, but he like had that left rear hop where it looked like the whole car come up when he went through the rut. Like it's fun when those guys like Thursday night when it was so slick and they're qualifying and they're just like putzing around, keeping the car straight. It's like I'd rather watch them on that elbows up, wide open. I don't want to call it a shit show because it wasn't that, but it's fun to watch because they're just
Yep.
their elbows up and they're all gunning for it. And I don't
Before
know.
I die, I'm gonna drive a late model and bury a slide drive on Bobby Pierce. He might be lapping me, but I'm gonna do it before I die. Just to say I've
Jesus.
done it. I'm gonna hit a corner at 100 miles an hour at 10,000 RPM. I don't care if I'm in an '04 Masters built. I'm gonna do it once in my life.
Like the
How you
10
gonna know
car
when he's
slide
coming?
job from the campfire stories with the Johnson crew.
Yeah, I threw one at Lansing.
Jackson, I don't know if your sliders ever play out in your favor. If
You
I'm
never
being
play out.
honest.
It was so when we went to St. Thomas a few weeks ago, Caden Nicious flew out, happened to be on the same flight as me. What are the odds of that? We go 3,500 miles across the world, and a guy that I race with every Saturday gets sat the seat ahead of me on the plane ride for 7 hours. And we got talking about first race of the year last year. It was like me, Bronner, and him for like 11th place. And he's like, "Yeah, I just remember you burying a slide job on me." And he's like, "Oh shit, I guess we're doing that now." And we slid each other like we were racing for 10 grand for probably $65.
Still fun.
So fun. Can't win the show, be the show, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we're all about.
Yeah. Speaking of racing next year, P Money, did you get the hobby rocket put together and ready for
Oh,
the
yeah.
steel sesh?
I yep.
Yeah, we should
I've
probably
been
go
busy
go through
since.
where we're all at.
Yeah.
Right. I ended up selling both of the hobbies that I had last year, just kind of out on a win. But I had found scrolling through Facebook Marketplace, found a hobby that hobby chassis dealer that I've always wanted to try with B&B, and kind of just sat there and thought about it for a little while and figured I could make it work if I could sell the other one, and ended up selling the other one and going to get a 2022 B&B and strip that down to bare chassis and put it back together in 3 months. Now it's race ready and we could just sit around until April. So
Nice.
Nice.
No, it looks good. I saw the pictures of the wrap. It's sharp.
How are your boys'
yeah,
cars
Did you have
coming?
Aaron do that? Did you have Aaron do that again?
yeah. Aaron at Auto Style Inc. I don't know everybody. I would say he's probably one of the best in the business to work with right now. So
Oh, for sure.
Right on. No, it looks good.
How are the Rajis?
Good.
Zach's is
We're
bare
coming
frame.
along.
Yours is
Mine
bare.
could
It
I
is
could race
not
it
better. It is
tomorrow.
not better frame.
Okay, not quite bare frame. It's got a rear end.
It's got the doors and Parker. It's got the doors and quarters off it. Yeah, we got her stripped down. All
Yeah,
it's got is
it's
brake lines.
It's getting some TLC, I guess would you'd call it, right, Zach?
needs a
Fuel
fuel
cell.
cell, a motor, and a body.
Yeah.
Nice.
We'll get cooking on it. We got to put a bigger cell in it. They're switching over to methanol, so we got to go from a 22 to a 26. You fix your frame rail. You got to go through the front end. I don't know, probably new wheel bearings and stuff like that. But I don't know. It'll come along pretty quick.
Did you guys take a couple months off of not even looking at them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Type of deal?
Yeah.
I get the way I get like when the race season ends is like for some odd reason I feel like I'm in a hurry, like to get stuff done. So like the race season
That
ends,
ain't a bad thing.
I get everything sold, and then I'm like, man, I gotta go, gotta get stuff ready. And I'm like, shit, it's only December. I got a lot of time yet.
Ready for just sitting there, just
Just
sitting there
look
humming, just shaking, ready for spring.
Sit and look at it. Yeah.
Just looking at it, just cranking the hog. Doesn't love it.
Oh, fuck me, daddy. Puts a new motor in the car.
Oh
What's his shorts?
I took the alternative route this year, and I actually I took a second mortgage out on the house. I got a race ready Longhorn with a Clement sitting in the shed, so
ready for Bobby Pierce.
Ready for Bobby Pierce.
Nice.
Yep. First time he comes up here, go for 50 over the fence. Oz dogged.
Dairyland.
No, my race car has pulled the battery, the motor, and the doors and quarters, and she's still got the top off, probably covered in bird shit, sitting out in the shed right now. But
dude, can I be a hard ass? I listed one of our BMod engines on Facebook last summer and got my ass chapped in the comment sections because I was calling an engine a motor, and some guys are like, they're not called motors, they're engines. Motors are electric motors, and I'm like, I keep hearing motor, and I'm like, I keep thinking of that comment. So we could correct them and just call them engines, what they're technically.
see, you can kiss my ass. I can call it whatever.
Yeah, I'll call it whatever I want. I don't know who's commenting on your post, but I
didn't know the guy.
I've always called them motors too.
I'm just trying to sell this thing, but fuck me, I get call it an engine from now on.
Yeah, call it whatever the hell you want. You're selling it.
I don't know. I wouldn't let it worry you too much.
I mean, Jesus, people call themselves cats nowadays. Why the hell can't I call a motor an engine?
Dude, it bugged me for like a straight week. Like I don't know if I slept a single night.
Because of the comment.
Yeah. Really
Parker's got a paragraph and he's just fuming, sitting in bed.
I let it go. It was the same guy that commented I put both our Willie Super Bowl carbs for sale. One was literally damn near brand new, then got freshened. The other one I put online for like, I don't know, like it's like $1,800, $1,500. He's had like 15 nights since freshen. And the one guy's like, geez, good luck getting money for that. I got mine listed for 1,000 and couldn't give it away. Literally sold both of them for what we were asking next week. It's like, fuck you, dude.
Dude,
these Facebook trolls. It's like they just some of the shit. It's like, why comment? Like, are you just going to
comment just to comment?
Dude, I had one time, I think it was like Deer Creek
let me
posted
forget this
about.
thought. Not to interrupt you, Zach. Just
maybe you should go first.
No. Did you guys see the comment that guy messaged Ricky Thornton's racing page last night?
Yeah, I did.
You know what I'm talking about.
He said something about you underbite. Fuck, I hope you die. I'm like,
this is horrible.
He was hoping he said he hoped he burned his car lit out.
Dude, let's call this guy out on the pod right now.
Here.
I'll find
Bronson Beasley.
Bronson Beasley, you're a douchebag.
Yeah, the douchebag.
I hope you junk your shit first corner this year.
Listen to this. You can't even spell a 2-letter word. Starts there. You fat bottom jaw must have gotten in the way. Underbite bitch. Then gets comment. Drivers don't run their own social media pages with the heart. I wouldn't either if I was a pussy. Like this guy literally won 30 plus Lucas Oil race, late model races last year. You're calling him a pussy on social media? This guy's a bitch. Like this is the first thing I woke up to was people sharing this thread. And then he goes on to say at 12:13 a.m. last night after the race, I'm so glad you hit the wall, you stupid underbite bitch. Fuck you. Like, who says this? Who goes out of their way to message a guy's racing page to say this? It's just like, that's what I hate about social media. Because it's like, what are the chances this guy's gonna go say this to Ricky Thornton's face? He
Ricky,
would,
don't take no
but
shit,
he-
Ricky.
I
Don't
know,
take no
it's
shit.
dumb. And then then he goes, only thing that could have made it better would have been if your fuel cell would have caught fire and you got burnt up. Like over a race. And this guy's wishing for a guy to get burnt up.
Literally
It's
wishing
like it's
death.
not even funny. It's just like
That's
I
horrible.
read that
Hey,
and I was like, my God, that guy
first
needs
off, in
serious
the odd
help.
case that Ricky Thornton sees this with our 85 YouTube subscribers, you're the man. This is 100%. We support you. If this guy ever comes and race with us, I'll send him over the fence for you. But speaking of burnt people, Brian Shirley, what was that
That
about?
was wild.
I just saw pictures. I
I
didn't even
just
see what
saw I
happened.
saw like a 15-20 second clip of it looked like he went up in
Oh yeah, I
sprint
did see that.
and
It
then
blew up and then it dieseled on him.
Like it
so
literally like
Bart, do you know what happened? Someone said that like the pumps, like because those have like a belt or pump driven
It was still
system, like
pumping. It
it
was
was
still
still
pumping
pumping
oil.
fuel and
Yeah, it was still pumping oil too. So
wow.
as it was dieseling, it was pumping oil. As it was like kind of running, they called it running away from him. Like it was still running
Mhm.
as he was trying to get out. So you could see underneath the car, it was still pumping smoke out the
it was
bottom.
bad.
Yeah,
Well, it was still running at that time. So then it was like keeping the fire ignited and lit.
yeah.
Well, then at the same time, people are trying to bash his I don't know if you saw any of the comments. Like they were trying to bash his safety equipment because um, and he attempted to get out twice, you know, and the first time he failed to get out because something got hooked, and then the second time it was kind of the same deal, and the third time he finally got out. But then people went on to say something about like the Simpson hybrid and how it can get snagged on a bunch of stuff. You guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, get
Mhm.
snagged on your
Hybrid that goes
belts.
around and it locks around your chest type of deal. They were saying that got caught, but then I think Brian went on Facebook the next day and was kind of clearing
I
up the
saw his
air on
post.
that thing.
Kind of cleared everything up that his safety
Yeah,
equipment did. What
but
got me
honestly,
was
go ahead, Parks. Right.
no, was the plastic. Did you guys see his plastic body on the right side?
It was literally gone. It
Gone.
literally
Honestly, though,
melted his
if
doors
it
and
was
doors.
aluminum, I feel like it would have done the same thing, would it not?
No.
I
You
don't
don't think
know.
it would have
It
melted
wouldn't
I
enough?
think it would have
it
burned. I think
wouldn't
it would have burned the wrap off, but
yeah, it
I
wouldn't melt it
would have
like
burned
that, I
enough
don't
like
think.
that.
I mean, it'd have to get really hot for a long time to completely burn aluminum. Like, but it literally melted that plastic. Like,
Did you
yeah.
guys see the pictures when I think when they got it back to Longhorn of how bad that actually could have been?
Oh, I'm
Because
sure.
there was like a puncture hole in the fuel cell that, like, if it would have gone like a little bit deeper, it would have been
It
just
just
dumped fuel.
exploded. Yeah,
That
that's a
that's a
scary
bomb
deal.
at that point. I mean, like think if it gets through that bladder in the fuel cell,
Mhm.
it's lighting that 118 octane race fuel up. I mean that'd be like an
Yeah,
explosion.
that
It
was
definitely
scary
It's
could have been
deal.
a
crazy.
lot
You
worse.
never want to see that. You never want to see that happen to anyone. I don't care if you're Bronson Beasley. You don't want to see someone get burned
Some
up.
people want to see that happen.
Yeah. Fuck you,
Honestly,
Bronson.
Jeez.
Dick.
but honestly though, like, as racers, you wanna be able to get out of the car fast if it is burning, so, like, I feel like you wanna I don't not necessarily we do it, but, like, practice getting in and out of the car, whether it be upside down or not, but with with those late models being so tight, like, even your guys' mod stuff, the cockpit is so tight and, like, you barely can move. When I drove Sean's B mod last year, it felt like I was, like my elbows were tucked a little bit and, like, I could barely move in there, things like that. I don't know. It's kinda scary to see how long it took him to get out in
I
that
remember
situation, so
Think about this too.
There's so many things you
Think a
got to
worst
take
case
off.
scenario. Think if he was upside down, had a fire like that. Like just
mhm,
and think if his right side or left or driver's side was blocked off and you were just burning. Like that's
right.
scary. Like luckily he was, wheels down and it went up and he was able to climb out. But think of an insane, freak accident if you're upside down, you catch fire like that and your stuff's still running, like you say, it runs away on you and it's
yeah,
burning
I don't even
and
like
you're
thinking
upside
about
down.
that. That's horrible.
It's
So yeah,
horrible. No, but that's what like it can happen. Like when we race, I mean, you're going out there every time you could have something bad like that happen. Go upside down, fuel running on you, like yeah,
yeah, that dude that messaged RTJ, like all seriousness, that's really screwed up. That's a
yeah,
dick
fucked
move.
up.
That's
Yep.
It
horrible.
is.
But
So On a positive note, so Alltech was good. That was fun to watch.
Let's go back to Vado. So there, yeah, we kind of had all tech, and then, well, I guess Golden Isles. Tyler Bruening, Decorah
That
boy,
was
won his
cool.
first Lucas race.
That was cool.
I don't think there was anybody from the Midwest not cheering for that guy that night. That was pretty
With like
sweet.
7 to go, he just was like, "I'm gonna win this bitch," and he
And
just he just drove his
he
ass off.
drove the
Drove right
shit out
back.
of it.
That's cool.
No, I was happy to see that from him. And then my favorite part of that whole thing was him just absolutely clobbering the backstretch wall, celebrating with his hand out the window after the checkered. That was
I know.
funnier than hell.
When he picked up Ben Shelton, that was pretty funny too. In victory lane.
You think about that though. He spends basically 300 plus days a year doing that for probably the last 10 years, and it takes you that long to win one. Like, it would be emotional. I mean, I bawled my eyes out when I hadn't won a race in 5 years at Deer Creek racing for $300. Like, can you imagine what winning with them guys would that feel like? Like
It's
passing.
just like think of Zach and I were talking about this at work the other day. Think of like the Devin Moran. I mean, obviously Devin Moran's won how many big late model races, but think of everything can go right. First night at Alltech, and all of a sudden,
blow a
2
right
to go,
rear.
and you blow right your tire. It's like you could do everything right, good heat, qualify, good heat race, and then just have a tire go down, and then you might not put yourself in an opportunity like that again. Leading a race with 2 to go, you could go 10, 12 years before you get in that spot again.
Yeah,
So
there's no
it
guarantee.
was cool to see
But
Bruin
then
pull it
when you're
off.
as good as Moran is, then he starts 11th last night and drives the shit out of the thing and wins from 11th. So he made up for it.
Yeah, he did.
Mm-hmm.
He was
Was
wheeling
it
too.
15 to win last night or 12?
I don't know.
What they
I think it
pay
was
to win?
12. I think it was 12 both. Or it was 12 the first 2 nights and then maybe 15 last night.
All I know is he can wheel.
Yeah, he can. So
But no, yeah, going back to, so yeah, there was what, Golden Isle, and there was all, they haven't been anywhere since Golden Isle in between here, have they?
No, I don't think so.
Then we had Vado. Vado was the Bobby Pierce show.
Votto was before both of them.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Otto was
Oh, yeah.
before any of them.
I'm going back. I'm working my
Going
way
backwards.
backwards.
Oh, gotcha.
So then
Yeah,
there was
Votto
Vado.
was. For as many good late models that were at Votto, it's crazy. Like, it's crazy how dominant Bobby Pierce was. Like, I guess I'm not saying I'm surprised, but I mean, even Alverson. I mean, he won that. He won that one night.
He's
But
been fast.
Bobby he was lights out almost every night at that place.
Yeah.
And he very well could have won. He very well could have won that night that Alverson won too. But
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that
just
guy has got some.
he's on another level, it seems like.
Dude, that dude's gotta just have a set on him. I mean, he drives the shit out of that race car and does not care if he bounces that thing off. Speaking of bounced off the wall, do you guys see that video of Drake Troutman at Alltech in qualifying?
Oh, yeah.
Going into 1 and 2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had it in
What
slow
about
motion. He just Shirley did it too.
Surely that's what I was gonna say. Surely they had a slow-mo of him going in and like he's turned left. You can see his rears are locked up and he slides. It's like bam and clobs
Was
the
that
wall.
qualifying? Was that qualifying when Troutman got into the fence and then
I think so.
no, it wasn't qualifying when Shepard rolled. That was a heat race.
No, so
Troutman
what
got into the
happened in that
fence.
deal? Did he just get in too hot up high?
He
Shepard?
must
I
have.
didn't see
I
that.
missed it.
Because Troutman Tony hawked the fence and then right behind him, Shepard must have followed him into the same line type of deal.
Shepard was wheeling
caught
that
the
night though in
fence
his
and
backup
rolled.
car. He
Yeah.
went from like
27th
24th.
27th to 7th.
Yeah, he was driving the
Didn't
crap out of that thing.
didn't Troutman have a pretty good run after he put it in the wall in qualifying?
Yeah.
I think
I
he
don't
came
remember.
through a B, but
Speaking of Drake Troutman, that's kind of another new thing. He's driving for what, J.R. Smith now? That's kind of
Yeah.
cool. He was the last person we had on here when we did our last podcast was Drake, and he was talking about, the dream being, driving for someone someday and not owning your stuff, and kind of cool he got an opportunity at 19 years old to do that.
Is he Hilsebeck's teammate? Or are they just
No, they're
have-
completely different race cars.
Dude, what is the point of having this?
They look exactly
They are
the same,
identical.
except Troutman's got a little bit of blue in it.
Yeah.
But
gotta look at the number. The font is
Yeah,
just barely different.
I think
Yeah.
Troutman's got a star, if I'm
He
not
does.
mistaken, too,
Yeah.
behind that second two. But
Votto, what else happened?
did anyone watch Has anyone watched Volusia at all? I don't have dirt vision, but
No, me
I
either.
heard
Oh,
how
yeah.
Sorensen did.
How
Or
about Dustin was fast? How about Ryan Gustin? Ryan won first night out and
Blew it up
cooked
though.
cooked a motor. It was like last like 7 laps.
Engine.
He was just steaming like a mofo. Yeah.
You're gonna piss Parker off.
Yeah,
So we're gonna
I'm
piss
getting
off.
I'm getting PTSD from engine to motor.
Yeah. Let's just say some really controversial shit on this podcast.
We could, we could get into it.
Yeah, we
Trump.
could.
What? Shit. I'll edit that.
I won't edit that. He's our fucking president. Oh, man.
Anyways, no Votto. So we go back to Votto. Dustin Sorensen was faster than hell. He was pretty fast in the late model, but he wheeled in the mod
Modified,
down there.
wheeled.
What he won one night. That last night he went like 18th to second,
18th to
past
second.
Dillard. He was fast. Yeah. Speaking of Cade Dillard, how about the new over-indexing left rear rule after the 100,000 win show last year? I think that got put into place because of Dillard.
Oh
I
yeah.
didn't hear about this rule. What is
It
this
was
rule?
literally the other night here. Let me read it off. And it doesn't, I don't know, to my knowledge, like I know there was a lot of people that were running a lot of excessive birdcage angle in the left rear index. But yeah, I don't know if guys were over indexing it so far and then had some sort of stop.
You'd
Maybe
have to, or
using
just
like a
keep
shock
rotating
mount or
back,
using
wouldn't
on a
it?
shock mount. Yeah, or using a shock mount as a stop once it went over center so it didn't, cage or cam over. But here, so Darlow said, with the 2025 rules posted, I want to clarify a rule pertaining to the rear suspension. The rules have always stated the suspension stops are not allowed, other than what is listed. The bird cages must move freely forward and backwards. This year I added the locked bird cages are not allowed. So to clarify, what we'll be looking for in tech is anything that will stop the bird cage from rotation or stopping the suspension travel. This would include, but not limited to, lower trailing arms making contact with the birdcage or other brackets mounted in such a manner to limit the travel of the birdcage. The only thing that can limit the travel of suspension would be the limiting chain, shock, travel, or an underslung. Any other part stopping suspension travel would be illegal. Any evidence of something making contact with the birdcage in a way will limit travel will be illegal. So make sure your car will comply. Jake O'Neill goes,
Cade
great, more rules. Danny Crane, just more BS. It's basically can't use your mind anymore. But I like this. Shout out to Trevor Hughes because this is a very valid point. I got hit in the left rear pretty hard 2023 and ended up wrecking a lower rod to the point where it just bent, like I could straighten it out and use it. But he said, what do we do if we hit a rod testing? Do we have to replace the rod? I feel like it's hard to police. If it returns to ride height and tech, let it go. If not, DQ us for a 49-inch deck height, which is very valid because if you cam over and it doesn't set back up, set back down, your deck height's like 7 to 9 inches too high. So it's like I don't see. I don't know. I'd say if it comes back down, then it's not a locking birdcage. But there was shot like example last year, like that first that XR race that Lucas won earlier in May. He was cammed over, won, went across.
that wasn't an XR race that he won.
It it was before the Lucas
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah, because he didn't win at the big deal.
Are you sure it wasn't the big deal?
No.
He didn't win at the big deal.
Friday night was
No,
Dillard.
no, not the big deal. Remember we had that race.
Lucas won a
During the
USMTS
it was during
race
the
at
Dairyland. It was during the Dairyland.
It was like a prelude to that big
Yes,
deal.
he won that. I think it was Thursday or Friday night, but he was cammed over.
Yeah.
And yeah, obviously everyone remembers Dillard at the 100,000 going across the scale and through. I mean, he was cammed over the whole time. So
I just remember
obviously
that.
something was stopping him, whether that was a shock mount or some sort of device that was, once he cammed over, that it wasn't, allowing anything further to bend and still keeping his left rear. I don't know. I've never seen it. I don't know. What's that?
Wasn't he cammed over at the halfway
Oh
point?
yeah.
he was
Yeah.
before that. He was
Yeah, it was like
it
lap
happened
like
pretty damn quick.
12.
But
Which-
that's what, I don't know if I don't know if he checked like because like Gary Christian commented, Kay Dillard liked the post, CDR car. So I don't know if it's something on a Dillard car that Darlow
Well,
saw.
Cade
I
Dillard,
mean,
the first time I ever saw anything about this, Cade Dillard shared it on his Facebook, and he said new rule because of me or something like that with a laughing face or something along those lines. But
but
I
I
just
get
remember,
like if I don't know, I don't like the idea that if your lower rod touches your cage at all and puts a ding in it, like if Darlow puts a flashlight under there after the races, like I said, if it's not bent but it's just dung up, it's like how far is he gonna go? Is he gonna DQ you because you
Mhm.
got paint chipped off your lower rod? It's like I don't know. I mean, I was replacing Heims yesterday on my car in the left rear, and I'm like, I mean, you'd have to go a long ways for it to hit, but I mean, I'm sure guys are pretty damn close with
Mm.
some of that stuff. So I don't know, but just something. Just I saw that rule. What was it? When he posted that Friday or Saturday night, and I go right to the comment section because I'm like, I know there's gonna be people that are not happy about it, but
I just remember that night Lucas won, and I was in the grandstands with my dad, and I'm like, it got really noticeable on the yellows after he over-indexed because it literally looked like a late model, and I mean, it was just like his plastic was like dragging on the ground. Like Jesus, Lucas has got that thing on the right front, and then they'd come around the corner, and his left rear is up a mile, and
yeah.
he was
I
fast
wonder
though.
what it.
That's the thing. He was
I know.
insanely fast.
Well, because your right front's all loaded up, and
He was
either
so
smashed
fast.
down on a bump and hammered on a bump, or
I just remember he was driving across the bottom wide open.
Mhm. I mean, just be solid. It's not setting back down, so you never have to worry about the cars, even momentarily trying to set off the bars. It's just up, just drive it on the right front on the
To
gas and
smack
turn
a
it up.
rut.
Yeah.
Hey, Money, how was Pro Kart yesterday?
Dude, Pro Kart's a blast.
We should go to
We
Pro
all
Kart.
need
We
to
should do a
go. We need
Grand
to
Metal
keep
Speed
GM
Lab.
Speed Lab outing. We should go to Pro
That
Kart.
would be wild. Get some
Yeah, no,
GoPros.
it is. Dude, that place. I wish, at the same time, you wish it was a circle, like an oval track, but with the stop and the go of the course that they have there, it just puts it in a whole perspective. Like the brakes on the go karts, dude, you step on them and you just start skating, like just crank it into the corner. It's a blast.
And they're fast too, aren't they?
We were probably going like 45 mile an hour,
Oh
50
yeah.
mile an hour. I mean,
Did you
just
ever feel like if you got going too quick, do the people there turn them down? Because we used to go to this, not Pro Kart. What's the other one in the city, Zach? We did.
XX
It no, it used to be
Oh, it's
in
closed.
Burnsville, I think. Yeah, they closed down. Isn't that
that's what
Pro Kart?
that's
No, you're thinking of the one
what-
in Fridley, I think,
Pro Kart is the
uh,
one.
in Burnsville.
yeah.
Yeah, the one that we went to that time. I'm trying to think of what it was called, but you could feel like they'd kind of get us out going, up to speed, and then they could shut them down, like slow you down. So
Yep.
that's why I was curious if like
No,
you guys
they
beating and banging,
honestly,
if
the
they'd
only
slow you
thing they
down.
would do is like me and my buddies were out there yesterday, and we were just packing each other coming into the corners, and they were like doing the spread out type of deal with the flags, and I was like,
Yeah,
why would we spread out?
the
Come here
racing.
to
We don't want
race.
So they would like black flag you, but there's kids there that are running the place, and they're like, they have to black flag you, but they're not really gonna do anything about it.
Yeah.
Honestly, dude, we were
Just give
just
them the
beating
bird and
the
keep
living
going.
shit out of each other. Dude,
Well,
dude,
just tell them you're colorblind and the black flag looked like the green flag and they're waving it
yeah,
at you. So it's like green, 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 boys.
yeah,
Let's
and
get
then
after it.
I
it's
think
it's
I
kind of
think
funny. They got like a bar area up on the top, and I always joke because any of you guys been to like Mount Olympus or anything like that at
Mhm.
Wisconsin Dells?
Mhm.
There's always that one guy that's clueless coming off the track, and everyberry's parked inside, and he just
But
comes in
damn,
flying,
pack
no
them.
brakes, and just packs each other, and like everybody gets whiplash from it.
Yeah.
There was a couple people there that did that, and it just reminded me of that. And
I think if all of us were there, it would be really bad. Someone would
We
definitely
might.
end up over the fence.
Somebody's getting kicked
We
out.
Probably
should do
me.
that. That'd be fun. We do like like I said, the ones that got GoPros, strap a couple GoPros on our helmets and
yep.
let's go practice.
There's some guys that go there daily that were turning like 16-second laps, and the fastest we were turning were like 19.5s,
Holy
19.6s.
shit.
Isn't that they do league type stuff
They
too,
do
though?
leagues, like I think
Right.
it's every Monday and Wednesday or something like that. But they were like, you watch them and you're like, okay, now I know what to do. And then you still go out there and try to do the same thing they were doing, and you're turning like three, 4 seconds slower than what they were.
I'd still have it in my mind that I was faster than them. I know I wouldn't be, but you'd still go there back. We drive race cars.
Right.
I think it'd be
These guys.
cool, and I don't know if anyone has something like this in the maybe somewhere they do, but a pro kart, right? But with those same electric, fast cars go 45, 50 miles an hour, but put them on a treaded tire and then have a track like that, but with dirt, keep
Yeah.
indoors, climate controlled, so where you could I don't know if the place would get if it'd get
There's some
too
down
dry,
south.
just get too dry and rubbered up that it wouldn't be fun. But I still think the aspect of sliding around a little bit and having some slippage would be more fun than the
That,
asphalt.
there's
I
a
don't know,
lot
that
more. I
asphalt
think there's
stuff's
a lot
gotta be
more
pretty
sliding than you
fun.
think at
Oh,
that
yeah.
place. So, because I felt like I was sliding every corner, and I was barely touching the brakes. And it's like you come in and you tap the brakes, and it's like locking them up, and you get instantly cocking the wheel.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Dude, I went to Knoxville like a long time ago, and we went to that Slideways place,
Yep.
and they were doing some sort of, I mean, Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart, I think it was Kyle Larson and Casey Kane were all there racing in some benefit race or something, and they were putting water on the racetrack, and then they put powder on it too, on the corners.
What do they do at Lucas at Nationals? They just put
Those
soap.
are slow.
Those are slow,
Yeah,
but that
those
would be
things
fun
suck.
if this
It's
car
still
could
cool
move
that they have a
faster.
go-kart track at a racetrack.
Oh yeah.
But they are kind of slow. I mean, just the times we've done it, but it's fun.
Speaking of Lucas, King of America's at Lucas this year. You see that?
Mhm.
Yeah,
I wonder what that's
there's
all
no
about. 'Cause
Humboldt. There's no Humboldt at all on there.
on the
Or
USMTS schedule.
That's
no
is that
Fountain
new?
City either.
Fountain City's doesn't have a USMTS race
I
this
don't
year.
think so. I didn't.
Wow.
You
Well,
know
I
who
guess they
does
didn't have
got
one
a
last year, did they?
Zach, what did you if you can spill the deets at all, what did you figure out any more on the Northern Lights tour? What it's looking like for races, or can't speak on it quite
I
yet?
mean, I'm not getting. I probably won't. I don't know a whole lot. I just know some of the tracks that they're probably going to be at, but it'll be like just like the other ones, so about 20 races
Gotcha.
around here. And
Fairmont
then,
race.
yeah, Fairmont's one of them. I
Nice.
don't know. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So, I mean, we'll have
Do you know when the
6 nights
schedule's
at
gonna be
Fountain
posted?
City. I heard within like the next week or two, it sounds like.
Okay.
So,
Speaking of Fairmont pulling racing dirt for weekly shows. I see.
Yeah.
No
That'll be
no more racing dirt at Deer Creek too.
they're going to do their
that's
own streaming.
it's gonna be odd, man. Do you think
That's
that's gonna kill the viewers,
know.
or do you
I don't
think
know,
it's
because
gonna
if
pull
it's
more people to
another,
grandstands, or
My whole
I don't
deal
know.
is like any way you look at it. Like if you want to watch races from home, that's fine. I do it all the time. But I get like where Deer Creek's coming from. So if you have 7 guys stay and watch a race on one guy's racing dirt that he paid $150 for 6 months, they ain't making shit for money off that. Where at least if they do their own where it's pay-per-view every night, they say, okay, if a guy wants to watch this, he's got to pay $30. That's the same as 2 guys coming to watch a weekly show. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they're not gonna buy hot dogs and beer and whatever, but at least it's like putting another 2 people in the grandstand. So
do you think if they do, obviously if they do their own, or they're pulling in that income too from from the live stream that they're putting on?
well, you would think so. I mean, if they're
Oh,
gonna
right,
do their own,
probably.
if you do their own thing, it wouldn't make sense for them not to. You would
Right.
think.
I mean, and that's a different case from racing dirt too. I don't think that they would,
I think
do.
racing dirt kicks back to the racetrack. I just don't know how
Oh,
much
they
it
do.
is.
I don't know if they did or not.
Yeah,
Yeah, tracks get some of that, but yeah, I'm not sure what the percentage is.
because racing dirt obviously makes money off of their racetrack having races, but
Mhm.
I
yeah,
will say, I liked having racing dirt at both
so
Fountain City
did
and Deer
I.
Creek, because it's like there was nights like last year was a perfect example. Like we had a couple, friends that we were on bachelor parties for. There was weekends we had to be away from the races, but like you were racing, Parker's racing, Zach was racing, and it's like you could log on to Racing Dirt, watch it. I guess it's still the same, like if they put on their same service, but you're just kind of, you already paid for that streaming for the year, so it's just like one more thing you got to worry about paying for, to watch that night. But
But
I don't know.
that
It's not the end of the world. Like the weekly stuff, like we try to be there as much as we can. So it's like the only reason I'm watching pay-per-view is like
You're
there's a
gone.
race going on down south that I'm physically cannot be at, or like I said, if we have something else going on, but like you still want to support your friends and people you know, you throw it up. But every other night, we're gonna pay our 35 bucks to go there and be there in person and watch.
Except, I mean, half the people, or at least half the drivers, are not paying their Racing Dirt subscription to watch other races. Like a lot of people are probably paying that just so they can go back and watch
And
Watch
their
rewatch
own
their
stuff.
race.
Yeah.
That's all. I mean, yeah, when USMTS is like down south or something, like you said, I'll turn it on, but otherwise I'm using it for my watch myself.
Yep.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah. So yeah, see how that goes this year. But
Yeah, it'll be good for Fairmont. I think we haven't had a streaming service ever that I
Oh,
can
that'd be
remember.
It'll be
especially
good.
Going back
especially
to IMCA, I think we had IMCA TV at the racetrack like once, and then we had the Racing Dirt there for obviously the USMTS last year. That was the only time that we had it. So
who
other
won
than
the
relying
USM
on live videos from family and friends, then go back and like Zach said, watch it. So
who won the USMTS race there, Rodney?
yeah, it was Rodney or Terry. I can't remember. Terry was good.
Rodney beat Terry
Yeah.
with
Jim got second. Oh, I think back on that. Terry dive
Oh,
bombed the
yeah.
middle on the last corner.
Yeah,
Jim
I
got
know.
it on the bottom, right?
That's
Was
right.
that Fairmont?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was Fairmont.
And Rodney won.
That was a sketchy night. That was the night that we had all those wrecks and it was super eerie.
Oh yeah, people were
Uh,
flying off the
Oh
fucking
yeah,
track.
and that's
uh,
when
Darlow's wife.
Darlow's wife had that deal. Yeah,
Mm-mm.
yeah, that was a
Oh yeah,
bad
that's
deal.
right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so
But yeah,
what's going? What's the plan for this year? P Money for you? What's kind of your
Deer Creek
thoughts for this
Speedway
year?
track champion.
yeah. I don't. I haven't really completely decided yet. Fairmont, Fort Dodge, and Webster are all running like a combined points fund type of deal. It'd be fun to chase that. Obviously, I didn't have that great of luck at Deer Creek last year. I felt like I was getting, you know, DQ'd or caused or called for a yellow that wasn't my yellow more times than none. But
I feel like you're due for a really, really good year, no issues.
Yeah, you had a really
It's
bad
like
luck
the
at Deer
first year.
Creek.
It's like the first year prison sentence, Parker. You get it out of the way early, get her all, get that puckered ass all
yeah,
oiled up, and then
I,
you're good for the next
like
year.
I was telling you this morning, Park, I'm packing on the weight, so I shouldn't
Yeah.
be light at the scales anymore at Deer Creek, even though they're off by a little ways.
Yeah.
I should at least be able to
Just
make
add
it.
an extra 25 under the
Shit, there you need to add
Yeah, I can't
150 there.
put into Darlow. I can't put illegal ballast behind the seat anymore. I just
Oh man.
can't go to the cornfields of Britt, Iowa.
Ah, yeah.
But no, I think that those three tracks I definitely want to hit. Fort Dodge, Webster. It's a lot of nights on a half mile. Obviously, 34 nights between the
Poor
tracks.
motor.
Poor motor.
Are you gonna run for national points?
We're gonna try. I kind of based it off of last year too, where I didn't really try to run that hard early in the year. And then I found myself kind of, top 10, top 8-ish. And then I started pushing towards the end of the year, and that's when everything started to go wrong. So I think I might do it the opposite way this year and just kind of push hard at the beginning, see how it goes towards the middle, and then, see where equipment stands at the end of the year. And that's kind of, I think, where I killed myself last year's equipment didn't stay up to par towards the end of the year and just started to fade quite a bit. So
Yeah.
we'll get to Deer Creek, as much Saturday as we can, and then obviously Mason races on Sunday. But we are going full-time USRA racing in 2025, besides without the exception of, Super Nationals in Boone. But no more IMCA stuff, full-time USRA guy. So
Right on. And like I joke about the Deer Creek thing, like just giving you crap, but every time you were there, like you had some bad calls and stuff that didn't go your way, but you always
Yeah,
had
it was-
speed. I mean, there was
Yeah.
nights you very well put yourself in a position to win and something didn't go your way. So I feel like you're
I still
bound for
remember
some
the
better
night in
luck
3 and
this year.
4. Parker wasn't even remotely close to the caution. Somehow gets dinged with it. Like
gets
he
called
was
for
like, it happened in turn 3, and he was in turn 4, and somehow they sent Parker to the back. And I remember I went and stood, and I looked up at the window. I'm like, how in the hell did you guys manage this one?
It was,
It
and then I
happens,
think
but
stock car
Sounds
national.
like sorry.
Stock,
Troy's
go
done
ahead.
that before.
Yeah, stock.
As I'm
Stock car
coming off on the
national.
record, and he's like, "That's like, what difference is it gonna make now? Can't even finish. It's not like I can keep going and went to the back. Like, no, I came
Right.
off on the record.
don't worry,
Mhm.
I'm gonna find that video and I'm gonna crop that in here.
Heck yeah.
No, stock car nationals was one that kind of stays in my head for quite a bit. But
What happened? I wasn't there. What happened that night? I remember the
uh,
group that we were
I
talking
was in the
about.
first heat of the night. Obviously, first heat of the night in Deer Creek. You guys, racing B mods know that just not the raciest type of track. And I think I started 7th and got 5th or 6th, and had to run a B, and I was running 4th in a B and got just obliterated going into 3. I mean, just taken out.
Send him to the
And
back.
they sent me to the back, and I missed the transfer by 1. I just
Stopping or what? Did you get?
No, they just said it was his fault.
Yeah,
It was bad.
it,
It was bad.
I mean, and then so I missed the transfer by 1, obviously, and that just kind of set the flame, even higher for me. And it just like it's tough. You guys know, and it's
You get a
when
bad outlook
when
on a
you
racetrack.
have bad luck after bad luck at a racetrack, and it's not you don't feel like it's your fault. It's just hard to come back and support. But
Yeah.
the more, like I told Jack the other day, I come back because you guys are at Deer Creek, and family, friends, things like that. But yeah, like Zach said, I feel like I'm due for
I feel
a
like
decent,
So
a decent year.
You'll win one there.
just on on that same topic, or at least the cautions deal, I feel like there's way too many infield workers that just aren't even paying attention to
Mhm.
like where they're at on the racetrack.
Right.
I guess I would expect like they got like not calling out Deer Creek, but they got those towers that they all stand on in the corners. You know, can we just like have everybody watching their corner?
Just
The
worry
thing
about
is, like, does anybody even stand there ever, or do they ever use the stands?
Deer
Because every time I
Creek,
look,
Deer Creek does,
people do stand in there.
but there's tracks that like have hardly any infield workers, and half the people are probably watching the race for the lead, and they see someone spun. I mean, it's just
And they just guess.
like yeah. There's,
Yeah.
I feel yeah. I know what you're talking.
It happens
It's
everywhere,
frustrating.
but
I hate taking my frustrations out, and I'm not track bashing in any way, but there's just, there's always situations like that that'll pop up during racing, and I just happened to be one that happened like 4 weeks in a row, and
Yeah.
it was
right.
You get frustrated because like it's like you want to run good. You set high standards for yourself, but then there's like nights where you just not like poor me, but like you just like can't seem to catch a break.
Yep.
And it's like you're not trying to track bash, but you're just frustrated because it's like it's just consistent, and you're like, God, I just
Mhm.
want a Saturday off, or we're gonna go race here, but it's
Yep.
then you might come back the next week and you might win. You might have everything go your way. So that's where it's just like I don't know,
That's just where it was different.
take your whoopings and come back swinging this year. So he definitely had speed and like I said, better car this next year and
Yeah.
fresh
I hope so.
mindset. So
Definitely one thing I did take away from the year is, like, I'll never have 2 cars again. It was an absolute
Remember
nightmare.
when you had 2 hobby stocks and a V
Uh,
mod at one point?
I had 3 cars in the shop, and none of them ran good. None every single one of them had issues. I think at one point, I remember sitting in the shop, I had a 2022 Eliminator with no drivetrain in it. Rear end was completely stripped out of it because I took the rear end out of that car to put in my other one. The other one was straightened the week before on the frame rack and was barely even ready. And I just kept turning my back and looking around. I'm like, man, I'm spending way too much money on this stuff. It just double, like, it seems like a great idea to have 2 cars to run 2 different sanctions. And
Just more work.
you never think of like, if I have this one ready to go, it's not going to double my cost. Well, when you have 2 cars that are completely destroyed,
Yeah,
then
fix both of them.
different. Yeah.
Mhm.
Just two headaches. I can say I did it once. I'll never do it again.
But
Yeah.
he's basically
Park,
Kaler Motorsports.
would you ever consider going to like if you were to switch classes, what would you want to go race?
Dad and I have been we're gonna, because this will be year 10 in a hobby, which is kind of crazy. But we're gonna be looking for a stock car next year. So
Nice.
it's kind of the way that we're gonna go. I think no matter how this year goes, I think it's time and just something change it up a little bit. But I don't know. I drove that mod the one night, and I hate to base it off of one night, but at the same time, I didn't think it fit me very well.
Mhm.
And I think I'm more caught up on, how these stock cars react and to changes and things like that. And it's pretty similar to a hobby stock besides weight jacks. And I think we're close enough now with the hobby based off of motor, based off of setup. Front springs are a little different, but that's about it. So I think that's what we're going to jump to, see how that goes, and
Nice.
go from there.
Heck
Yeah,
yeah.
I feel like the amount of modified guys that either have stock cars or have gone, like Kelly Shryock, for example, like he hops in a stock car,
They
goes and
love them.
Jim Chisholm jumps in a stock car, goes and win. Um, I think, I mean, doesn't that say something when like, a modified driver, someone that's racing an open wheel car, hops in a full body car, and then they go and say it's the most fun they've ever. Brandon Hare, for example, I think I follow him on Facebook and his Snapchats, and he said last year in one of his posts that racing the stock car is
Most fun he's ever
some of the
had.
most fun he's ever had. It's like
Mhm.
says it right there. So
There's a
and
lot of
he won a track championship, and I don't know how many races last year, but
Hair is fast.
it's just
every night.
awesome. It's fun to it's cool to see.
there's a lot of these mod guys that are just buying them to run them. Honestly, that they have both of them now.
Mhm.
I mean, not necessarily USRA guys, but I mean,
Dylan Thornton,
look
he's
at
the perfect
Thornton.
example.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Murdy is in one now.
Kyle
Or Murdy had
Brown,
obviously had
Kelly,
been in one, but
Ricky Thornton.
Ricky Thornton, yeah.
Yeah.
Derek Green's a good one. I mean, he hopped into a mod, but he's keeping the stock car around just because basically the
Can
fun
reel
of
the
it.
shit out
We
of
Mhm.
should
them.
get speaking of Derek, we should get Derek Green on the podcast. He'd be a
I
fun
agree.
one from the success he's had in a stock car to go and switching up and going modified racing last year a little bit. That he'd be a fun one to have on the
Yeah,
podcast. Could you get that lined up, Art?
I probably could.
Yeah, just see if he'd hop on tonight and we can just shoot the shit. It'd be kind of
Right.
fun. I don't know
Yep.
the guy. I honestly don't know if he was walking through the pits what he'd even look like, but
He's a riot.
be fun to talk with him.
Jack's met him before. I think you guys interviewed him at the Dairyland last
Oh
year.
yeah, it was a
Yeah.
super awkward interview. I loved it.
Yeah.
Somewhere it's still in my camera roll. Never got posted.
Did you interview Turbo Jack? Did he let you or no?
No, I didn't interview him.
You did
Speaking of
Stremmy?
Turbo, did you guys see that picture of him just in his underwear at the pit?
Yeah, moving a barrel.
There's a video of him running back to the toter.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Dude,
That's
how
a
you
that's a
can't
good
not
one.
like that guy? I don't care. I don't
Dude.
know how you don't like Turbo.
I was never a Turbo fan until he won the Gateway Dirt Nationals in 23 or
22.
22. And then
Right?
it's like now
Yeah.
on because I always just thought he was just kind of like but like I realized he's such a goofball. Like
Oh yeah.
these that interview we did with Trenton Berry with the sunglasses on, and he's like, he's just a goofball.
Yeah,
And it's like, and then hearing Dad talk about him,
Swally offered me $1 million
$1
to run.
million. I haven't seen the check yet. It's like he's just a
there's one
goofball.
video that always cracks me up and sticks in my mind. And they were talking about how shitty he ran the night before and whatever. And he's like, I'm about to start 8th in this heat race and fuck them up.
Yeah.
One of my favorite ones is they're like, Tyler, what do you need to do? I don't know what it is, but if I knew, I'd already have fucking done it or something.
Yeah.
And he's like,
Right after the heat race.
He
Yeah.
just doesn't care. And it's like, yeah, I mean, he does. Like he said on our podcast, he cares that his people in his circle, and that he knows the people that support him and who he wants to be around, and everyone else just kind of like, fuck y'all. Like,
we
I'm
got to
just
get
doing
him
my
back
thing.
on here with a
Yeah, he was
better
fun.
phone quality or something.
Yeah.
Hey, let's just touch on some highlights of 2024 seasons for all of us. Just it's been a while since we've been on here. All these times we've kind of had a guest on, kind of basically since we started doing these. We don't really talk about our results much, but just kind of touch on some of your guys' highs and lows of 24. I don't care who wants to go, but
Mark, you want to start?
Yeah, I can start.
Which one?
That-
There's times
Yeah.
two. It don't matter.
Well,
Everyone.
Anderson, but it don't matter.
Definitely. I think at the start of the year, I set a goal to win outside of my home track, and I guess the highlight of my year was winning at Webster early on in the year for sure. It was
That was pretty cool.
just getting one outside of Fairmont, outside of hometown stuff. So
Mhm.
that was a big one to get out of the way early in the year. And then, I ended up getting another win in Fairmont at the end of August, I think, or at the beginning of August. But running, I mean, those were obviously the two highlights of the year. But running second 9-10 times during the year really, really sucked. um,
Getting
I
second
had a
track
really good,
points.
second in track points, just second in everything, basically. Yeah, lost the track title by 1 point, but
Yeah.
that one really hurt. I had a really good one in Britt. I don't know if you guys remember that one. That was towards the end of May too. I think I won the next weekend at Webster, but I ran 10th to second and
Oh
gave
yeah.
Crimmins a huge shot to the shorts coming to the checkered, and it kind of shoved him up the racetrack, and I lost by 0.0012 or whatever at the line.
Where was it
That was
where
a
you just
cool one.
got stuffed in the front stretch on the first lap?
That was in Britt too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That was a low light.
Lot of highs and lows this year though, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are winning at Webster definitely is probably at the top of the list for us last year.
What's your overall grade on the year? How'd you do?
B minus.
We had a B minus here. That's fair. Sheppy, how was your year?
It's pretty good. It
First
could have
year in the
been better. Yeah, rookie year in the mod. I don't know. It was it was kind of up and down. Because when we um, started going racing quite a bit, or racing, I mean, as much as I could to get more and more seat time. Um, and it just felt like the competition was pretty tough until the big deal was finally done, and there wasn't so many people coming here to race those Onum modified races or whatever. And after that stuff got done, I feel like I got pretty quick and showed speed and top fives, and we almost won at Mason. And then I just kind of feel like I flatlined after that point, and I just kind of hit a wall, and I was like a 4th to 8th place car, no better, no worse, really. Yeah, or worse some nights, but no, it was pretty good. I made my first USMTS Jamboree feature, and I didn't get to race a lap.
Raced your way into it too, right?
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah, we had a really good B, and yeah, super jacked. I was so jacked. They're shooting. I'm holding the flag, and we were 4 wide. Dustin's right next to me. I got fireworks shooting off. I was just pumped to start in the back just to see
Oh yeah.
I could do. I was like, I'm gonna finish this whole race, no matter how bad I'm at. No matter how bad I am, I'm gonna race this whole thing and just see. And yeah, that sucked.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was
That
it
did
was, it was
suck.
an all right year.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I was in anybody's way really. I wasn't really spinning out or anything on my own.
Would you say for your rookie year you were faster or slower than you expected? Or would you say you're right about where you expected to be? I mean,
I
dude,
think
you almost beat Jake that night at
yeah,
Mason. Like,
it's hard to say because like I think my expectations. I think sometimes I try and rush into like stuff like that. I want to be a top 5 car every night, like right now. And it's just not really how it works. So, I mean, I think my expectations, I think I did better than that, but I think if a couple different things go my way, um, it would have been a pretty damn good year. It was still a solid year. I can't complain. There's some nights I wish I could have back.
Mm.
we all.
Yep.
I'm trying to think if I had, other than I won my first race and what, second, third night out. So that was fun. It was my first win in like, I don't know, 5, 7 years, 6 years. So that was sweet. So I mean, I guess from a grading scale, if I'm going off of other years, it's an A+ year for me because you know what, I won a race. Like, so that was awesome. So it was a great year. But other than that, I mean, my year, I blew a motor. That was engine, whatever. Yeah, wasn't a great year.
You guys are never gonna hear motor again. You're gonna think of that comment I said.
Yeah, whatever. I hope this guy watches it.
Anytime somebody says motor on our podcast, Jackson, you have to go through and put a little asterisk and
Yeah.
engine every single time.
Yeah. So okay, so
gonna
it's
take you
engine, not
4
motor. I
hours.
blew an engine. I don't know. I mean, so I was in a new race car this year. That was kind of interesting. I'd driven a dirt dueler for probably the last, oh shit,
7 years.
7
6 years.
years.
6 years. I guess I had 1 year in that old Skyrocket, but been a dirt dueler for a long time. So this year we got that GRT, and I mean it was different. It was a lot of fun. We put that thing together, and like I said, I first night out we couldn't get that thing. Pretty much all year we kind of struggled getting that thing to get set the left front down. That was kind of a, I'd say that was kind of a struggle all year, but got the thing pretty good. One night we won. Um, yeah, we blew a motor, and then I didn't basically race from like I don't even know if it was
It was a
July or
while,
it
dude.
was
It
like it
felt
was
like
like a month and a
forever.
half, 2 months. I had off because I blew an engine, and then I came back for the jamboree. We put my dad's motor in, and I came to the jamboree and I ran pretty good. Yeah, jamboree I ran pretty good. I made the show all 3 nights. I think. Yeah, I think everyone made the show. They had double features. Never mind. But Saturday night of the jamboree. No, Saturday night they only had one feature because I started fourth in my B, and it was Caden Kath, Jet Sorensen, Brandon Hare, and me. So and they took top three, and I got third. I passed Jet, so I mean I had 3 good cars ahead of me, and I was able to make the show. So I guess that was good. I drove in and then was freaking lap traffic sucked in the feature, but pulled off. Got 245 on my engine, so we pulled off. But overall, it was a good year because I guess I won a race. I mean, that's better than any other year I had. But
And you
that's
didn't
kind
Ain't
get
of
us.
crazy. That's nuts though. That like obviously it's awesome for us, but like there's people who win one race a year and are fucking pissed.
see, and I'm like,
It's all perspective.
that's
It's
all that's all my goal for this next race season. If I can just win one more race. Like it's not that I'm trying to like every year, yeah, you wanna do better than last year. Obviously, like yeah, like I would love to win 5 races, but just if I can just win a race a year, like especially with where we race at Fountain City and Deer Creek, like the modified, the B mod, the hobby stock competition is so good. And like we had I mean, I just look at the guys that I race against in my class. I mean, Harley could have been a national champ. Cruz could have been a national champ. Hunter Kennedy could have been a national champ. Hovden's good enough to be a national champ. Like, we race against good guys. And that's just 3, 4 names. Like, there's guys from first to 12th that could all win the feature. So, being able to win, there's only 15, 16 races a year at Deer Creek, give or take, whatever. So, if you can win one of those, I guess that was a good year. So,
and it was one of the features that was not split.
yeah, it was one of the only weekly shows that was just one feature, so that was kind of cool. So
Mhm.
that's my year, I guess.
Nice.
Had fun with the boys. We started up the Speed Lab podcast and had some fun with that. Shot some footage, got some Facebook followers, and started up the old TikTok. So it was kind of fun.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
that's my year.
And life slowly got in the way in the off season.
So, yeah.
Just
Speaking of life, this guy's gonna have a kid here in 12 days. Whenever. It's
If that
crazy.
could be any
It-
day now.
Yeah. How was your year, Pimp? Give us some
Um,
perspective.
my perspective still positive for myself. I set out like when we got the car done up and wrapped. I told John. I said I wanted to win 5. I said I wanted to win 5 features. That was my goal. I mean, we won that Dairyland race in 2023, and it really like just gave me like motivation to know that I can do this. We got the equipment, and I just want to put myself in a position to win more races. Started out due to a rule change, we had to change some stuff on both our cars, and my car that I was so used to just carving into the corner so well on the gas. I feel like Zach, I think we can both speak. We fought with just tight in, tight in, tight in for probably a good month, the first couple races, like just trying to get our cars to turn again, on the gas. So once we got that figured out, we had some, ran top 5, top 10 a lot of nights. Um, got to July and started getting some speed. Very well could have won the Friday night of the Go for 50. I thought I had a good shot at winning that race till the engine unfortunately let loose. No failure to
Is that the
anyone.
day race?
What's that?
That was the day race, right?
No, that would have been the Friday. That would have been the Friday night race. So I think I
We didn't.
started
Oh yeah, we raced Friday during the
second
day.
yeah.
That's right.
But I think
It was a day
I think I
race.
led the first 6, 7 laps of that race and then blew up, unfortunately, coming off at 2. So we DNF there. And then I sit for a week or two until we put that. Yeah, I sat for a couple weeks, kind of deciding if we were gonna fix that concept engine or if we were going to put our spare engine in because we were kind of on the fence if Zach was racing for points, if we were gonna save that, if something would go wrong with his. So then finally we got to like August and we put that our spare engine in and had some good runs with that. Um, thought I could have won a race at Fountain City with it, and I beat myself, got passed by the 50 to the third and the 25, and ended up third. And I don't know, there was nights. The highlight of my year, like if I'm looking at it race wise, was a Deer Creek. It was a weekly
Yep.
race. I
Mm.
started second, and the first like lap, I dropped back to like fourth. I think I went to the middle and got passed by
It
Jacob
was
Least
like
and
6th.
Brandon, or maybe I went
You
back a
went back
ways.
a ways.
And then finally I'm just like, oh my God, I'm good enough to win this race, and I passed Brandon back, past Lease.
Lease.
I don't know who else was up in front of
Wetstein
me,
was
but
leading.
yeah, so then we had a restart and it was kind of middle top dominant. I chose the bottom and I threw a slide job going into 1 and I cleared Wetstein. And then we went into 3 and I kind of like blocked him. When I drove through the black, I didn't skate, but I just cut a whole bunch of momentum off. Well, Brandon got in really good, and because he knew Ryan was going to slide me back, and he hugged the brown and he beat me to the line, and then we drag raced into 1, and I cleared him coming off a 2, but there was a caution on like turn
Yep.
3 or in the backstretch, so I went back to the last completed lap, which Brandon technically led because he beat me at the line, and then I ended up second that night. But
And then
that
you're
was a
not
fun
catching
race because I
Brandon Davis
honestly
out front.
felt like, what's that?
I said, and then you're not catching Brandon Davis out front at Deer
Yeah, I
Creek.
mean, we were like I stayed within like 4 or 5 car lengths, something like half a straightaway. He got out front, and then I finished second. So that's just how that night went. And then, so that was probably the closest outside for a race I felt to winning a race that year because I last year I thought I had it, had one in the bag, but didn't pan out. So I was a little bummed, like grade wise, I didn't, unfortunately didn't win any races, but still stayed positive. That spare engine we put in, I ended up on the last race of the year for me. I flattened a cam, so that ended my season. So, but I did have fun. I mean, we still had 6 races with Zach and Jack that I was able to watch and hang out at. So it was still fun. Like even when I'll tell anyone this, even when I'm not racing, I have just as much fun, watching my brother or Zach or people I know, I have just as much fun being there and chipping in when I can, lending a hand. So,
I think one of
or
the
cooking if
highlights.
I can.
I
Yeah,
think one of the highlights of my year, we went to the Cora Fair Race on a Tuesday night.
that was fun.
I had a flattened out cam on my motor wind up final. I was just out to lunch for like
You said no
the
power, like your car was good, like he's leading the heat race, and then it was like
Dan Hubden
out
went
the
by
back.
me on the top,
Like,
like I was parked, and I'm just like, oh, I'm like, what in the hell? I went up to the top. Philip Edie passed me on the bottom. I go down to the bottom. Roney goes by me on top. I was
yeah.
just out to lunch. But Parker came and he was helping me that night. And I remember at one point we had my right rear slider apart. We had the left rear off of it. We were moving chain. We were moving spring locations, and we were just throwing shit
And
at
it was
it.
fast. It was good. It was good in the feature, and then you just
I just had no power.
had no power. So,
But that was
but
fun. That
all
was
in
the
all,
highlight of the
yeah,
year.
yeah. Highlight and just I guess while we're on here, just want to take a second to thank everyone behind us, whether it's friends, family, sponsors, anyone that lends a hand, comes to support us. It's it's much appreciated. Like every year it seems like it's harder and harder to do it. Everything gets more expensive, and it takes a lot. It takes a lot of time. Like our time is the most expensive thing that we give to this, sport, this hobby, whatever you want to call it. And, I just the biggest thing is, for me is like trying to stay positive throughout the year, try not to get burnt out when it gets hot and you're just, you're just
Having
done,
bad
70 degrees
nights
and
and
you
you're
have a bad
tearing shit
night.
up and
But there's some nights where it's like it just you have a crappy night, you want to go yell at people, stuff doesn't go your way, but then you look around and you got 10, 10, family members, good friends, and it's like even though your night kind of went to shit, you still got good people around you. So that was a that was a positive, I guess, without getting too like sentimental or I don't know. There's a positive every weekend as we just had good people around us. So that was for me, I would say the year was an A plus. The racing grade, I'll give it like a like a C minus for my performance because I could have put myself in positions to win where I either screwed myself or we just have mechanical failures that are outside of your control. So we have nights like that just didn't go our way. But we're kind of this year we're going through and going through our cars, freshening things up, to put ourselves in a position for when we do show up, we're gonna be contending for wins, both of all of us, so that's what I'm looking forward to this year. It'll be a big change for myself and my family, but um yeah, I'm looking forward to just being at the track with the boys.
Absolutely.
I just rambled really long on that, but
that's
that
all
was
right.
positive.
It's
So
all good.
No, it
Rock on,
needed to be
boys.
said.
Go ahead. Go ahead, buddy. You can
No, I
talk.
just said that needed to be said. I mean,
No, yeah, it did.
yeah, just
But well, I think we kind of covered some of the stuff we want to cover. Like I said, it's been like since July since
Good to
we've
be
done one of
back.
these. So
it's good to be. It
yeah,
feels good. It's like yeah.
Busy off season, but now
we're kind of starting to get back in the swing of things. So yeah, for those of you that watch this, I know we don't got a ton of you, but if you like what we're doing, subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow us on Facebook. Go to all these guys' Facebook pages, give them a follow, TikTok, whatever, give us a follow. We try to keep some fun, light content. If you're kind of having the off season blues and want to listen to us ramble about racing, like I said, give us a follow. Yeah, we'll try to get back on here another time. But yeah, until then, thanks for watching.